curious to know from you, has talking about footy this much in a objective sense allowed you to very clearly in your mind say what you love about footy? Or because I find it hard to grasp exactly what I like about footy, and I think most people who watch footy would think that what's the precise thing they love? How do you grapple with that question?
Well, here's what I'll tell you that I have learnt about myself, and I can say about myself 100%. I love footy. I love footy more than I love the Bulldogs. Now, some people are supporter first, I love my team and then I love the game. I actually probably get more joy out of watching other teams play each other than I do out of getting my own. There is a different emotion of watching my own team. There's nerves and frustration and those sort of things but to watch football, to watch teams play against each other, I probably watched 18 North Melbourne games last season and love them because you're just watching this young team start to these players start to emerge. And if you love the game, seeing future, a team that's been in a bad place for a long while, see those sprouts of them starting to turn the corner, not quite being there yet. It's like watching a baby giraffe learn to walk, It's magnificent. And I love the game. So I love every aspect of the game. And I think that the reason I do is this. I love that it's an oval ball. The reason it's an oval ball and we play finals is that it isn't a computer program. We're not going to feed in all this information about who the best players and who the best team is and then just print out at the end of the season, who's going to win the game. The ball can bounce the wrong way, and that can be the difference, right? There is no game in the world that leaves so much up to the umpires just deciding what the player's intention was.
Yes.
Not only am I going to enforce these rules while I run 14 kilometres in a game that's 360 degrees, played by people of all different sizes, in absolute chaos at sometimes. But you know what? This rule, you've also got to read his mind a little and see what he was thinking. Right?
It's the most artistic sport because it's taking the umpires are critics and they're going, what you did made me feel this, and thus I give you this response. It's not you hit him in the hand, so it's this. It's I felt this.
Mate, and so much of, you look at a game like NFL or baseball or these sort of things, right? Often there'll be a celebration. The NFL players, there might be a celebration of what they've achieved. The soccer players, there might be a celebration of what they've achieved, right? Afterwards. Ours is the game that has that built into the play itself. No game has a component of the game where a high mark is taking speckies is really kind of unnecessary. There'd be a different sport that'd be let's just kick it a bit longer and catch it in your tummy. Yeah. That's how we do it from now on. We have a game that rewards these absolute moments of creativity and chaos and the way someone kicks the goal, the performance of it, we get mocked because you get rewarded with a point.
Yeah,
I'm like, no. That's great. I love that we give you a point for having a go, right?
I feel the same. It's so much of it. Do you think as you get older and there's more memories connected to it that it takes on a special meaning as well? The idea of I talk a lot with younger people about when I played footy and my experience with footy when I was a teenager was a different experience to the moment that I started to pursue a completely different career. As soon as I went to acting school and I had a focus and a drive to go and do something else was the moment that I really became hyper-focused on AFL because I don't know what it is. I get the idea that that's never going to be me. I'm never going to be that person. That it allows you to fixate on something that you have absolutely no control over and to be able to have fights that at the end of the day mean not that much but in some way, the moments of elation you feel are as bigger moments as you have in your life, I think.
I think so too. And I do think that there is something that draws creatives to Aussie rules in particular.
You reckon?
Yeah, I do. Because to truly understand it and enjoy it, a lot of it is defined by its limitations, defined by the fact that so much of the game is open to interpretation, that so much of it is imperfect, that we have this game that isn't played by one particular type of human. If you lined Caleb Daniel and Mason Cox up for people who did not know AFL and went, they play the same game. You'd be like, I don't reckon that's true. I don't know how that could possibly be that they play the same game, and that we have this game that rewards that. I think a lot of it is in the interpretation, and I think that's why I think that fans sometimes do themselves a disservice when they crave for things to be black and white, because the truth of it is that we have a game that, if you are going to complain about why was that not a push in the back versus that being a push, oh boy, like you're not going to enjoy the game. That you've just got to kind of roll with the fact that it's an imperfect game, and it kind of, in the end, it all sort of works out in the wash. But part of the joy of it is that it's an imperfect game. Like when you look at AFL player lists, they look like Lord of the Rings characters going on a quest. You know what I mean? Like there's just all sorts of different, and my axe. And you're like, where's that guy come from? Like there'll be a preppy guy versus a guy who looks like a caveman versus whatever. And I think there is a poetry in that. There's a poetry in the stories. And there's this it's a weird sport, right? Like, because it's only Australian. We don't play it anywhere else in the world. It is ours, both its limitation and its, you get to, sometimes we love Paul Kelly because Paul Kelly's great, but also because the rest of the world never quite got Paul Kelly, right? And, he's popular in other places, but he was not popular anywhere else like he was popular in Australia. He feels very much like ours because he didn't go off and become somebody else's. He's ours.
Absolutely.
And I think that Aussie rules football has that as well. There are so many things that are so anachronistic about it. The fact that there's still so many teams out of Melbourne. Can you imagine if you're designing a game from scratch in today's day and you came in, I'm the guy. It's day one and I'm just we're going to have a team, we're going to have 18, and they're like, oh, great, so we'll have 3 teams in each state. No. 2 in every state and then 8 in that one. That's what we're doing.